And fascism sort of inscribes ideology directly onto bodies through discipline and rituals and repetition, both as a site of domination and, carrier ideology. So what makes fascism so dependent on media, these sort of rituals and teaching and classroom practices rather than just laws and force?
Well, I mean, it does depend on laws and force, as we can see, or lack thereof. But
Mhm.
of course, I'd like to focus more on repetition and ritual in this case, as you say. Very
Yeah.
interesting ideas and really interesting how you put forth the question there as well. So Christian Fuchs's work, yes, it talks about digital capitalism and digital fascism, and it's kind of, he's a techno-sociologist who's dealing with media studies, essentially. And my work kind of sits on the verge of media studies. It's kind of drawing both from sociology and media studies. So I suppose, yeah, it's really important body of work in that sense. I think Ben Kinnear talks about this as well in a very interesting way, that neo-fascism has this way of turning fringe narrative into a kind of common sense and inculcating it as almost a repetitive ritual in everyday life. So it becomes part of lived reality. And I think the Deleuzian idea of becoming, which up until now we have looked at in really positive ways, becoming part of your research paradigm, becoming part of what Gramsci talks about, your resistance, anti-hegemonic resistance, but also the new far right, the neo-fascists would like to co-opt Gramsci's idea of cultural revolution as something that is of their own, which is a pity, because they kind of put him in a box for 20 years and bent his spine and his teeth fell out, and we all know how it turned out in the end. And he wrote prison notebooks. In the prison, incarcerated in fascist Italy, was a secretary of the Communist Party. Yeah, it is quite the pity that you try to co-opt the same guy and his take on cultural revolution now, but that's the state of the world.